A full-time median income earner will be $978.40 worse off than was forecast compared to last year's budget. How does lower wages help people who are struggling in a cost of living crisis?
Well, I'm not sure where the member gets her figures from. Our focus
1% lower growth. So real wage growth is forecast to be almost 1% lower across the next 3 years in comparison to budget 2024. That was from the budget.
And initiatives like Investment Boost are about lifting wages. And as I said before, I would love to be sitting here in very different economic times, but that's the reality of what we have inherited. So we have to deal with the reality. We have to deal with the underlying circumstances like high government spending and wasteful spending, which is why each budget we look at what are the opportunities to save, because those are the things that take the pressure off. They are the things that are creating economic harm. And as I said before, the economic recovery, the growth forecasts are lower than we would like. But if we look a few years out, that growth is continuing to increase, and those are measures that we've taken in this budget that will get us there.
Given that minimum wage growth is actually lower than inflation, our lowest wage earners are now worse off in real terms. How does that affect people who are struggling to pay for $16 or $17 for a block of butter?
Well, that's why we are absolutely focused on the cost of living. Priority number one is the cost of living in the economy. So, as I said, we have to deal with the realities of what people are facing. That is why part of the budget was an amendment to an increase in the Working for Families threshold. So 140,000 families benefit from that. We have aimed initiatives in Budget 25 at the low and middle income households. And we have to do it in a way that we are very, very carefully balancing pressure on the cost of living. And that's why some of the initiatives, like the Working for Families, for example, have been in that area. Is there more to do? Absolutely. But the cost of living has to be priority number one, because that is the thing that is still causing significant pain out there for individuals. But as I say, there's other work across the government that covers this area that don't sit within my responsibilities.
So unemployment is forecast to be higher for longer as a result of Budget 2025. What is it in your budget that actually provides any incentives or supports for people to get into work? And again, new initiatives, not previous government.
Yeah, so as I said, the economic conditions that we find ourselves in, that we have inherited, are challenging.
No, I just want to point back to that. It's a result
Budget
of your
2025 and the unemployment rate that we have didn't spring up overnight.
That's not addressing my question.
It has been coming for many years, very much based on the decisions that the previous government made.
No,
I'm focused on how to solve
your
the
budget
problem,
increased unemployment.
which is why we have an Invest to Save, which is about providing opportunities for more people to get back into employment.
Do you not accept that your budget increased unemployment?
I accept the conditions that we have inherited. Budget 2025 is dealing with the economic circumstances we have, making choices about how to go forward, how to grow the economy, how to ensure that more businesses have confidence to take on staff. That is what reduces the number of people who are out of work and lifts wages.
Do you agree that the choices that you have made have entrenched the recession and made it last for longer?
No, I don't.
Causing people more hardship in New Zealand?
I fully reject that. We are dealing with the circumstances that we inherited. We have now had two budgets, both based on dealing with the cost of living, which we absolutely must do because families are still doing it incredibly tough out there. I'd love to be sitting here with a different set of economic circumstances, but when you come in as an incoming government, you don't pick the circumstances. You go into it with your eyes wide open and you then deal with the problems that you are faced with. That's exactly what we do. That's why the budget is focused on economic growth, to create more opportunities, more jobs and higher wages. That's what the budget is all about.